Check, 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 check. Check. Hello. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Art Therapy with me, Leela, and the pie. The pie is here today. She may understand the schedule now. She may. I know we have sound right off the bat. Who knew that I had such a low bar for having a good time here today? Hello, Thomas Christ and Louis, who is in the Lurk Lounge until he gets back from the bank. And Field Tone should be here pretty soon. Because I just finished watching Field Tone's stream, so hopefully that'll be going on before my show on Tuesdays. Super excited about that. Anyway, so I just want to quickly just sort of let on what I was talking about yesterday when I was cut off and I didn't have any sound. So what happened was I did a live gig and I reset up my entire equipment. Then I tested it all out. I tested it Sunday night by going on a live stream, not live, but like a non-live live stream with Lori. And then it ended up like then it just didn't work. And I don't know why, because everything was fine the night before. And then so what I ended up doing was leaving the studio and coming back, and that's what fixed it. So I thought I would just share that with you real quick if you wanted to know. Uh-oh, look at Pie is on the rampage today. She says, I've missed my last few shifts. So would you just pay me for all those shifts now, all at once? Would ya? Would ya? Good times. All right, I don't want to waste a bunch of time. Today I'm going to spend my time kind of not in a really intense and obvious way, but in a ongoing moving sort of way. I'm going to show you the reasons why I have two art apps. And so let's whoop. There she is. She's not playing today. She is not playing around. All right, so hey, Field Tone, what's up? Nice to see ya. Right on. So, whoops. Let's not do that. Let's do this. Cool show, Field Tone. And I've got something cool to show you. How come I can't get my display in there? Hell. Here we go. Morning, Jade. Morning, Heathen Granny. Woohoo. All right, so first I want to show you the really cool soundscape we're going to listen to today. And Thomas is dropping a link right there, and you should, hang on. Today, they're really, StreamYard is on some kind of rampage today. Anyway, way up there in the corner is a QR code, and anything Thomas is dropping is something you will be able to find there. Right on. So let's quickly show you this cute little, I started this yesterday on my show with Dark Park, which Field Tone Audio helped to design. And I've got, hey, J.R. Dubé and Audible Video. Welcome. This is unfortunately not a music stream today. Monday is when I do my iOS music thing. Today I'm actually doing art apps, but we'll be listening to this incredible soundscape, and there's a nice people in here. So let me just show you my soundscape real quick. We've got a sound box with extra lush post-rock guitars running through Taurus without the two top ones, and some Deja Vu, and that's running on the same bit. Long-time viewer, first-time dumper. Fun times. Good job. Anyway, So, and then I've got another sound box, which is a choir, which is a soprano ah with a vector. And that sounds pretty yummy. And that's also going through Deja Vu. And then, of course, Dark Park. And I've got five LFOs running on all the secret bits. Yeah, just check this out. So in the macros, I've actually got the sodium is moving. And then I've got drift, burn, veil, and searchlight also at different speeds and different shapes of LFOs. Very, very cool. This is going to sound so yummy. And then just a little launch pad for music. And this Archer's Player thing, we don't need that. It probably got updated again this morning. So let's press play. And then we should have some soft music to make art to. Hey, come on. There we go. Ah. This Dark Park is just so incredible. I'll turn it down just a smidge so you can hear my voice over it. Let me know if the music is too loud or too soft. We'll get a little shimmer sub. I've got the Frobulator running too. The Frobulator is the best free app I've found so far. Hello! This is really cool. All right, so getting to work here, we're going to go into superimpose. We're going to use SuperimposeX and Procreate. And the very first thing I'm going to show you is this little... So here we go. So here is this thing I made in Procreate. And you can see down here at the bottom, it's too light and it looks like these fence posts just sort of disappear. And I didn't like the lighting. So the very first thing to show you is the difference you can make with the retouch brush. Check that out. See? So this upper left-hand corner got much lighter. This bottom corner got much darker. And now you can kind of see how the fence sort of pops into the back. It sort of pops out from the background because I did this thing. And we will pop up. We're gonna open up something I made in other apps and we're gonna play with that brush. Hello, Jim Shannon. What's cooking? Right on. Let's bring in something. Actually, we'll do it with one of these pictures of Mount Rainier. There we go. So here's this. This is my favorite. So it's down here in the editor menu. Whoa. And then see brush, and you can see all the things the brush does. You can paint with the brush. You can, that's basically the entire engine of Procreate. The whole thing is really, it's all about. See, God, listen to how Dark Park is just morphing all over the place in such a yummy way. I adore it. Right? So there's an effect. There you can draw shapes. You can smudge. Smudging is really fun, but smudging is way better in Procreate. But here's something that Procreate doesn't have as far as I can tell. Or if they do have it, it's not as intuitive as this. Retouch brush. So you can saturate, desaturate, darken, lighten, soften, blur, and sharpen. And that's what makes this just incredible. So say I want to lighten. So see how we're using lighten. Now I can come down into these trees just lighten them. What? Then I want to, like, for example, darken. So each time you use one of the things, you end it, and then you come back and use retouch again, and you choose a different brush. It's always doing one thing. So darken, let's go darken. So that kind of, right, I'm right in here, and I'm just making it so that you can see more mountain, and you can see the edges of it right there. Wow. Intense, right? That just looks incredible. Which is why, so I actually want to darken this back up too. I didn't. And I now see how I didn't continue, right? Whoa! I just almost bobbled my. So I'm just gonna just lightly tap in the darkness here. Darkness. Yummy darkness. And you see this light kind of still across here, and that kind of makes it look like there's an ambient light kind of sweeping in from the right. I adore that. I just adore it. Right? All right. So that explains that. And yes, I can't see that good of a view every day. Unfortunately, I've got a little peekaboo view of Mount Rainier out my window, and it depends on the weather and my neighbor's trees, whether or not I can see it very well. All right, so that just kind of, I'll just take that out, right? So let's open up this. Now see this this is a wild picture, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to export it from here into my photos, and then I'm going to show you one of my, watch. So we're going to come in here now that I've saved it, because I didn't want to change it, and we'll come into the editor and the brush, and we'll smudge. Now there's different smudges, but they're super hard to kind of tell what's going on. See, it's not very, just doesn't seem like it's doing all that much, right? Doesn't seem very smudgy to me. But see, I actually smudged some stuff, right? You can see as I changed the compare, which is this button at the right bottom. So I smeared out all this light stuff. Well, you can basically smear with one kind of brush, and it isn't that exciting. So let's pop out of here and pop in to Procreate, which I've got right here, right? Now let's open up, let's import the same photo that we just did, right here. All right, now check this out. Look what your brushes, this is your smudge right here. Now look at the depth of this smudge. There is not just a Procreate library of brushes to smudge with, but if you go back, there's this old classic library of smudges. Now watch, I'm gonna smudge it with something really obvious like this disco. Now watch this. Let's make that larger. Now you can see, look at that. I'm smudging it with, which is like kind of how I make a background that's really obvious. See, isn't that gorgeous? Right? And then you can just come in and paint over top of it. So the brushes, the insane amount of brushes is like, check this wintercrest stuff out. Like, we'll pick a light color out of here. There's that light color, right? Now let's go, whee! Look at that! How awesome. And then you can take and smudge that. Let's smudge it with flowers. So the smudging is out of this world in in Procreate. And next, we will, let's see, what's the next thing? Oh yes, there's the insane amount of, now I'm going to come back, and first we're going to quickly show you in Superimpose. I'm going to come back in here, and I'm going to show you the second thing I love about this, and we're going to do it with one of my own photos here. Let's do it with these rocks, right? So there, it's called Auto Mask. Mask. So watch, see? So Auto Mask kind of gives you this wonky, I don't like what that did, but let's work again with something else that's got, all right, like these have these big hands, right? If we auto mask them, look, see, Auto Mask does this incredible thing where it changes the opacity, so it gives you a slightly opaque, slightly whacked out way of doing things. So we'll just hop that in there, and then easy transform fit to canvas. So see, notice how you can kind of see through. Look at that. Whoa, put it back to fit to canvas. Anyway, hit back to editor so you can do it. So look at that. See, so you've got this semi-transparent stuff going on. And then of course that's when you would really love to see how to we'll take that once again, we'll send it to photos. Boom. So the Auto Mask is something I really love, right? Now we're going to come back and I'm just going to import photo, and you'll see how it's different here. So when I say actions, add, insert a photo, it doesn't give me the option to auto mask it. It just pops it in. I mean, of course you have this really intense and beautiful freehand removal technique, so I could just be like, let's just take half of it. What? And then then you can just copy and paste, and you've made this new layer. See, we'll take that and just show that. So here's another thing I love about Procreate is this little bit. See, so all I did was take my pencil and I went to this, and I'm going to show you with my mouse. I went to this little check mark here, and I long pressed my check mark with my pencil, and that isolates your layer and shows only that. And it does not, that's not something that they do in Procreate. I mean, not in Superimpose. So we'll go back to Superimpose, and I'm going to show you how we're going to go to the layers menu, and we're going to go to blending, and then you'll see we'll count the blending modes, and that is a big thing here. So we've got normal, then multiply, which actually looks kind of amazing, screen, overlay, and I did a show on all of this, so I did a show on blending modes, so if you want to check out that show, or there's also way better versions of all that. Darken, that looks pretty amazing. Lighten, color dodge, color burn, soft light, hard light, difference, exclusion, hue, saturation, color, luminosity, plus darker and plus lighter. I mean, that is a lot of, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 modes. I'm going to move it to, I like to darken. That was my favorite one. So we'll just leave that. Now we're going to flip on back over to Procreate, and we're going to take that. So now this is one of the things I constantly am doing here in going back and forth between the two apps. Let's go back one more time here. So I'm going to come back to my current layer image, and I'm going to actually share my current layer image. and I'm going to copy it. So when I use the auto mask to make these funky, trippy kind of the relevant mixed media, physical mixed media art technique is called transferring, and it's a process that is uncontrollable. You cannot make it work exactly like you want. You will get some randomness, and I love that. So I've got the randomness out of here, and I can't do that in Procreate, but I can come back to Procreate. We'll hide this layer that we put in, and then we're going to come back in and we're going to insert by pasting. We're going to paste from superimpose, and see, there you have it. So now, instead of having the full photo, you've got this transferred photo that is so much sexier, you know? And there you go, fit to canvas. And the way fit to canvas works in both apps, but it works slightly differently in both apps, but it's pretty easy in both times. So this one here, it's just fit to canvas. All right, so now we'll check out our blending layers. Let's see how many we've got here. So we've got multiply, darken. That looks incredible. Once again, shade, which looks almost exactly the same. Color burn. A linear burn. There's no linear burn in the other one. Hey Denise, what's up? Then there's darker color, which I don't think they have in the other one. So that's 6. Normal is 7. Lighten is 8. Screen is 9. Color dodge is 10. Add is 11. Lighter color is 12. Overlay 13. Soft light 14. See, these are some of the same ones. 15 is hard light, but now we get some extra ones here. So vivid light is 16. Linear light is 17. Pin light is 18. Hard mix, that's another one that they don't have. Pin light, linear light, vivid light, none of these are in. That's 19. Difference is 20. Exclusion is 21. Subtract is 22. That looks amazing. 23 is divide, another one that looks amazing. Look at that. Look how that just, oh. 24 hue, 25 saturation, 26 color, 27 luminosity. So they have 9 more blending modes. Let's go back. What was that color? Which that one that looked amazing? Divide. Divide looks amazing. So see, now I've got these similar photos that I can use in the same way. But I think this would look really cool if we brought it down in opacity to about 37%. Let's go. Geez. See? We've already got this kind of thing that's really rolling. And so one of the things, like the painting is so much better in Procreate, of course, because and then again, so that we'll go back and I'll show you how paint, and there is some pretty cool stuff though. You can make your own brushes in Procreate, and you can sort of make them here as well. So let's go back to editor and brush, and now let's go to paint, and you can see that there are these different ways of painting, but they are not like, look at this one. Check your settings and we'll see what's in there. So here's your custom brush tips. That's how, and there's a bunch of little designs. So I would actually call this a kind of cool thing, right? Put a little extra spacing. Change the pressure. Change the scatter. Change the size jitter. Now let's get a really bright color here. See, we need a color. Where's our, oh, there's our color right on the corner. So let's grab this. Let's grab one of those lightest colors so that we can really, really, really pop that up. Oh, that bright green should do the trick. And we want to make our brush size huge so it's really obvious. Look at that. Look at how that just flies. You can't even tell what those are. That looks rad. Now let's go back over and see if we can find that same color in Procreate and do something different. Well, it'll be close. There's that green. Ooh, I think I almost found it there. Where is it? There it is. That's not the exact same green, but it's pretty cool. Anyway, so if when we paint, and the eraser is really similar. So let's go to street art or at creative. Let's go here and let's use this shining bronze. It gives you this real sort of, and notice how it's not green because we're using a blending mode, right? If we wanted it to be green, see how when you look at the inserted image, you can see all the green? Let's see if I can bring my thing up there. Wow, look at that. So let's get out of there and let's add another layer. And now watch. I bet it's gonna be green now. Yay, look, it's green. Let's be like, so like I'm painting, right? And then of course I like to take, let's go with an eraser. We're gonna bring, I'm gonna undo that. I'm gonna make this so that it's the only thing you can see. And then watch when I bring in the eraser. I'm in the classic library. What? New audio damage app just dropped? I'm freaking out! I know. Let's grab this Hessian. So, right, that's a really cool little, and watch. So I'm erasing like that. There you go. And now there's these little empty spots. And you can see them. Now you go in, let's smear it all around. We're in the classic library here too. If you want to smear it around with water or flames or abstract, let's use this Opticon because it gives you some crazy stuff. Let's go back and let's get that large. See, look at that. Opticon gives, like, it messes, it uses a prism effect that kind of messes with your colors. So see, look at those little corners coming out. Now we just come back in and we'll just, there we go. Look at that. Woohoo! That's fun. Now I'm gonna grab another color. Let's look for another thing I love about, oh, here we go. The opacity sliders, these sliders over to the right. It is much easier to get your color done because you just come on over here and you can actually, in your settings here, your preferences, you can actually move your stuff over to the right if you like it there, but I put it back there. So your dynamic brush scaling, your brush cursor, that's so you can see, right? So you can see the brush cursor by looking right there. You can look at that, and then when you're on there, see how you're, I'll make that very large. You can see the cursor, you can see the brush as you're smoothing across. Now we're gonna smear that with another, let's smear it with Opticon again. Why not? Because now we're smearing we're smearing the pink and the green together. Let's oops, singleize that. Yeah, see? So I love it because this is so much more like real painting in here. So this is, it has the most sort of mixed media feel. And the best thing is that both of these apps, one thing that both of these apps do is make it really easy to get just one. Well, actually, so here's the second thing. Here's the next thing about what makes it easy in SuperimposeX. Let's flip back to SuperimposeX. Whoa. Now we're back to superimpose, right? Here we are in superimpose. Now, imagine I just want to take one layer. So all I have to do is be on that layer. So here I'm on this layer. So and then it shows you right here in this share menu, you can send it to the mask library. Hey Bops, what's up? You can actually open this layer in a whole different app. You can share it to another app, or you can just send it straight to photos. Or oh look, create video with superimpose V. What? Let's try that. See, so that's pretty cool. Of course it crashed, but hey. That's just, that's probably my app. Hey, Jenny! Yeah, see? It gave you layers. Give you 3 layers. So you could actually go on this layer and you could use a preset effect like a motion. See, look at that. Now you have a layer just bouncing around on top of your other layer. How cool is that? Look at that. It's just bouncing. So you literally have something going on with your photo just like that. That is pretty cool for SuperimposeX. And I also love the way that it's just very, it's got a really excellent share sheet. Now we're going to go back on over to, and remember I'm using my external keyboard, so an Alt Tab actually will move you back to the app you were just previously in. Now look at this, is just gorgeous, right? Now if we want to here, when we want to share, it's like share layers. So I have to share them, it shares them all to PNG. It shares each layer. So save 4 images. So that means if I only wanted one, right? I have to go back to my photos and erase some of them. Let's see. Did I want this one? Did I want this one? I don't know, I kind of like all the layers. I think I'll leave them. But if I only did want one, I would have left it, right? Let's see, can I think of any more things? We'll just keep working and see if I come across something that I like better. Oh, right, here's one thing like I said, is that every single time you can get the exact whatchamacallit you want. It's at the top. I want something that's got a whole bunch of let's bring in the opacity down. Yeah, look at that. This is so much like painting in real life in my stuff, you know? This is so much like working in my living room with my paintbrushes and my stencils. And although, let's see, do I have a stencil or something I can use as a stencil? You can actually lay a stencil on top of your iPad and do your magic with your pencil on the inside of it. You can just trace. I've done that before, but I wish I had I think I might actually. Excuse me for 1 second while I bop over to the other side of my room and grab that. I'm just doing that. I'll be right back. If you saw what a mess this was in here, you would be shocked that I can find anything at all. Right, so anyway, these are from a company that I've been working with since 2016. They're called Stencil Girl, and they make very high quality, beautiful stencils that are you can only get them if you're in Stencil Club. So we've got these ones look like they're for bingo. I don't know if you can see them, but see, let me pick one of these bingo things, and I'm just gonna drop it. Watch, I'm just gonna lay it. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just laying it on top of my iPad, and I'm going to use I'm going to use a pencil or like a light paintbrush. Here we go. Let's grab paints. Let's add a little of this and make our opacity not 100%. Now I'm laying the stencil down. And that's what's so cool, is that literally it's so much like a regular stencil. See that? So we'll bring down the size more. I'm gonna find another one. This is, get back to N4. We're gonna actually, so you can see where I popped in the stencil there. Now let's move this color darker. Ooh, there we go. And now let's put it back on, and I'm basically sticking it right over where it was, and just holding it. Kind of have to hold it some. Whoa! Let's undo that. All right, I'm holding it somewhere where we're not on the screen. Yeah, now the actual stencil itself is constraining my pen, constrains my Apple Pencil to only being in the spots where the stencil lets you be. I don't think you can really do this when you're on. Whoa, see? Yeah, it's a physical stencil. I just stuck it on my iPad screen and started drawing over it. What? Isn't that kooky? Let's do another one. I'll do I-17. Let's change my shade again. Let's make it even darker. What? Yeah, I know, it's so rad. Now just remember that you have to kind of shrink your your thing so that you can keep your, because if you hold your fingers down, if you hold your finger down on here, you're going to end up with some stuff happening, right? So we don't want that. But we could, now I'm going to take this, right? And then see, because it's on a layer, all we have to do is go in the layer, copy, right? Add a layer, maybe paste, or nope, actually you don't need to add a layer. What you need to do is go back. So we copied, so you go back to actions, add, paste. So now it just pasted, hey Trimmer Bear, what's cooking? Right? So now, I moved that one. See? Like it's actually kind of, the whole thing is just redone. And now if you went back to the original one, and let's smudge the crap out of that. Let's smudge it with these polygons, right? So I'm smudging the background so that it doesn't, but see, look at that. It just looks all, it looks kind of conked over, you know? And this is just a couple of slots on these little stencils. I've got so many stencils. Let's see if we can find one more that looks really cool. Oh yeah, look at, there's a 4-leaf clover. Let's throw a 4-leaf clover onto this one. So once again, we're just gonna go, whoops, I'm in smudge. Oh, let's do it with erase now, right? So let's erase. Let's make sure we're in. We got to get into paintbrush. Let's get into paintbrush. Let's just use this jagged brush. We want to don't want it to be too high. So now we're going to cut it out. We're going to use this to cut something out. Whoops. I touched it too much. There we go. So I can use this to cut stuff out. What? You can't really see it because I'm cutting things, but woo. And I'm doing this really sloppy, right? So let's go in here and make this the only one. See, look, now you can see the eraser erasing it. Yes, you do have to have an Apple Pencil for this, yes. But why would you have Procreate and all of that and not have an Apple Pencil? Hey, Simtex Cow is in the house. What's up, my friend? But yeah, this just looks cool. Back to that. And then, of course, you know, I could take that layer, right? What if I did that? Let's take these layers. Let's take all the layers and share. Let's share. Remember, you can't share one layer. You have to share them all. Save 6 images. We've got 6 images. But now, if we go back over and use that special fun thing in Superimpose, you come in here into your own photos and whoa, huh? Right? Now you just bring in, let's bring in this. Okay, now we'll auto mask that and look, see? Oh, that is wicked. Take that, transform it, fit it to canvas. Go into your layer menu and try blending that in somewhere. Multiply, screen, overlay. Ooh, that looks good. Darken, lighten, color dodge. Ooh, color dodge, sexy. Let's take down our, oh wow, look at that. I love that. All right, let's leave that. All right, now we come back to our editor. We're in our editor. We hit the plus button, right? Let's go back to the photos. Let's find this, right? Auto mask it. You can't see much, but it is there. Transform fit to canvas. We can leave that one like it is. It's just a smooth little layer. All right, next one. Wow, and see, auto mask is so wild. Last time it took these guys and made them really bright, and now they're just kind of a faded, chunky. But if you came in here to your layers and you blended them crazy, overlay, blend, whoops, darken, lighten, color dodge. Ooh, color dodge looks awesome here too. Color burn, soft light. Ooh, look, that looks really cool. Difference, exclusion, hue, saturation, color, luminosity, plus lighter. If you wanted to come back in, right? If you wanted all to bring your layers back in funky, if you wanted to bring the cut up layers, you could just come back in one time again and just be like, what's up with my layer? And then you would basically you can take your layers and auto mask them here, and then literally just kick them back out into the other one. So you could just take this here, and now let's take our whole blended image, right? We'll send that to photos, right? Or then we'll take it to share sheet, right? Share sheet, copy. Now we'll drop this picture right back into its old picture. See? We're working back and forth, and working back and forth can create such incredible depth and wildness. Allow the paste. Whoa, see? But you can come in and just take that, right? Or insert an image and just bring the opacity down, and now you've just got this kind of funky thing going on. Now this is that one, the one that moved. Notice how the edge needs something. What the edge needs, so we'll stop this. We'll just know that we're in the right one. So smudge out the edge. Let's go back to libraries, right? We're going back here to Lake Echo. Is one of my very favorite smudging brushes. Let's smudge the bottom. Watch. See, now you can't see that rough spot anymore. I'm just smudging it out. Say bye. Boop. All done with that, right? Looks kind of cool. And this is when you would start adding things. I'm going to drag this up on top. So drag it. Whoops. We'll drag this one underneath. Yeah, see? Now that gives it, now that takes your things and splashes them in more, you know? And then you can just start, then you start again with brushes, right? The same way, you just grab colors and you start painting. I want more of this, right? We want that. Let's put it all in a fresh layer, right? So let's make that large. Yeah, see? And it's a little bit transparent, just a little bit, so you can see what's underneath it. It looks rad. And then, of course, we'll use Lake Echo again, just because fun, yeah? And see, notice when you have, so when you're smearing things and erasing things, you can change the opacity so that it's not smearing it, so it leaves some of your original paint strokes, but it just messes with them a little bit, right? Like that. We'll see. We'll make it really obvious here, see? So notice how it doesn't change the whole line. So now we'll move it to erase. We'll change it to this Nico rule, right? So we're going to erase, and we're going to bring our eraser capacity. Let's bring the erase way down to like 20%. We'll bring this size way up. Now, notice it's erasing, but it's leaving a whole bunch. It's like a really crappy little eraser. Yeah, yummy. Now it's all smushy, smudgy, broken, and fun. And we could just go on and on. Let's see if there's anything else I've forgotten. I think what we should do actually is we should let's make a couple of, let's make a little list, because we've got a few minutes here. Home lists and ideas. Here we go. We'll put this in YouTube. Open up a new one, and we'll call this Superimpose versus Procreate. And then we'll take that and we'll turn it, let's see. Where's our format? Format, there we go. Or we want it to be body text. Where is that? Anyway, actually, so I have a pencil. I put the pencil back on top. I think you can see that. See? It magnets to the top, and that's what actually charges it too. Superimpose. And that superimpose, of course, one of the biggest things is that retouch brush. And then the auto mask. And we'll Procreate. More blending modes. More brushes. Way better smudging. Way better painting, smudging, and erasing. Maybe these should be like bullet points. Whoa! Let's undo that. Undo. Here we go. More brushes, way better erasing, smudging, painting. Those are the main ones. Seriously. But that retouch brush is so awesome. And the auto mask is awesome. They're both just really important to me as far as that goes. It'd be awesome if I could remember everything I did during the stream, but I can't. So let's hit stop. Oh, the push. Yeah, let's play around with that. So this is the ending. That takes a minute. Yes, I've done this in other ones. So this is, I'll compare the two quickly. It only takes a couple seconds to compare. So in here, in SuperimposeX, you use distort, warp, right? So see how I'm warping and moving things? But this is where we want to be, right over here. So like warp, and then there's that. Oh, so that's another bit. There's more different warp modes actually. So like, look at that. Woo! So, right? So the warp modes are different, and I wouldn't say either one of them is better. Let's put it that way. So let's go back over to Procreate. We're just going to quickly, so the way you do that here is with this, with your adjustments menu, and you go to liquefy, push. Let's find something to push around. Here, we'll push this around. So we're going to get back in. We're going to liquefy, push it, and push, right? So pushing this stuff around. But here you can also twirl left, right, pinch, expand. You can do a lot of that stuff. Edge, reconstruct. They're similar. You just do them differently. It really isn't that one over the other. Isn't all that. Anyway, let me say goodbye to you with my face, because we're heading on over to Jade's next. Jade's gonna look at, why did I already forget? Probably the standalone version of Scalar 3 is what if I remember. Woo, that was fun. Hey Cubes, what's cooking? Believe next week is the time's going to be moving again. So that'll be fun. And I'll be maybe more and more bright and awake during my streams, right? Hey, look, it's our friend Rainier, and she hasn't been undone. Oh, hi, Ed Zielinski. Right on. All right, everybody, keep your hands inside the ride. Oh, it's UK, it's not Australia yet. Okay, good. All right, I'll reset myself. Thank you so much, Jade. Jade's the smartest. Anyway, big love, everybody. All the peace you can carry. Come on. There they go. And I'll see you on over at Jade's. Keep your arms inside the ride, and you'll be automatically removed into that direction. Hope you've learned something, and if you didn't learn something, I hope you had a good time. Mwah.